everyone, I'm back again. It's Alyssa here at Into the Heartwild. Still getting adjusted to opening phrases and sentences, so bear with me if it keeps changing and such. But today we're going to try and keep it short. We're going to do a quick wrap-up of everything that I read in August. I did not do as much reading as I have been doing recently. August was a terrible month. The breaker for my AC went out, so I lost a whole week of reading because my house can get up to 98 degrees on the inside because it sits in the sun all day long. So there was that, and then I got distracted for 4 days playing the BioShock series, games 1 through 4. So I lost a lot of time due to both of those things. But I still managed to get some stuff read. I read about 12 or 13 books, maybe a little bit more, somewhere around there. 2 of them were graphic novels. The Estranged King by Ethan A. Aldridge. If I can figure out how to put pictures on the screen somewhere, I will do that. If not, I'll just give you a link. But it was a follow-up to The Changeling King. It was a cute little thing. I actually read it for the art because it's got that cute little water style that I like. So there was that one. It was cute. It was a good little sequel, you know. And then the other one was The Prince and the Dressmaker, which was actually really adorable, and I do recommend that one. I loved the ending most. I don't want to spoil it, but I thought it was a great ending, and it really helps with the whole parents accepting certain things about their children and such. So it was a cute little graphic novel. So aside from that, everything else I read is stuff that I do own, because it is my goal to read through the things that I own. So let's just go ahead and just dive into this and see what we've got. So we have book 5 in the Belgrade series by David Eddings, The Enchanter's Endgame. Ultimately, I didn't care for the book. Like, I gave it 3 stars. It was very slow for the most part, which is how I kind of perceived the entire series. But I was so stupidly invested in Aunt Pole and Dernick that the end of this book tore my heart out, and I cried a lot. Okay, so I think that's ultimately what at least made me give it the 3 stars, because I was leaning towards lower. You know, and Garion had his sassy moments because he's a little sassy boy, and I do like him as a main character and everything. Just overall, it was kind of just a really slow, very boring installment, and I didn't care about what all the queens were doing. I know, sounds weird, but I didn't. So that was the first one that we had finished. So then we have The Adventures of Robin Hood by Roger Lancelyn Green. I read a lot of Robin Hood stories, as we know. I've said it in a few other videos, but this was just very dry, very boring. Not a whole lot of flair was added to the tale. It's just this is Robin Hood, this is what he did, this is who he met, this is how he met them. It's very structured and just very kind of bland and boring. The whole middle felt like the same chapter over and over and over again, just with different people. So it's just a very dry, bland retelling. Nothing fancy in this guy. Then we have book 5 of the Percy Jackson series, The Last Olympian. It was a good solid end to the series. It wrapped everything up nicely, in my opinion. My favorite scene was with his mom and the shotgun. So this is also the first time I've read through the entire series of Percy Jackson, because Percy Jackson came out after I got out of high school. So I do think for kids it's a great series, and it does hold up pretty well entertainment wise, and Percy's the sassiest boy ever, and I love that. Then we have Willa of the Wood. This was a very interesting tale. It gets very, very dark at times, and it is a book directed towards children, so I was like, ooh, that's pretty dark for a child's book. But it also has some very beautiful moments in it as well, and it has the found family trope going on, which I thought was really cute. It's not like one of my favorite tropes, but if it's done right, I can enjoy it, and I think it was done well in this one. So very cute little tale, lots of dark, horrendous moments. This poor girl goes through some nasty stuff. So, but the end and everything kind of helps outshine the darker elements of the story. So it was a good one. Next we have Warrior of the Wilds. I was super excited for this. I was very excited going into this. My sister had sent me the synopsis for it, and I was like, ooh, that sounds like something I'm gonna want to read. You know, your main character, I don't even remember her name because I didn't like this book. What was her name? Razmira. She's been training to be a warrior for like 10 years, and then she has to take her final test, and something goes wrong, and she fails her test, and then she gets thrown out into the wild. And unfortunately, the entire story gets run down by the need to throw in romance, which is my biggest issue with a lot of young adult books. We don't always need romance, guys. Calm down. But also Razmira just like spends a good amount of the book just like wallowing in self-pity because she was tricked. And I'm not saying the way the dude tricked her wasn't right, because he was a trash can for that. Seriously, that was rude and messed up, and he's a trash bag, okay? But I can only take so much self-wallowing pity throughout a book before I'm just like, I don't like you. Can you please stop talking? So the parts where there was actual action and like they were trying to accomplish their matigers and such were interesting, but just the minute the boy popped up, I was like, I know where this is going. And it did. It went there, and I was just like, so I feel like a lot of potential was lost in this for the need to throw in romance. It could have been so much better if it just focused on her just being the warrior she was trained to be to take on her matigers and stuff. So it was my lowest rating for this month. It was not my lowest rating for this month. I am a liar. This was my lowest rating for the month. The Princess Beard. This was so disappointing. The entire series was disappointing, honestly. They just progressively got worse and worse and worse. If you like jokes that center around poop and sexual positions and a lot of pun names based off of like real people, then sure, this is probably for you. It was not for me. I was hoping it was going to be better because I do have, I wanted something funny to read, and it wasn't the funny I was looking for. And I didn't like any of the characters in this book. The second book, I didn't like any of the characters, and in the first book, I loved Poltro. She was amazing. That was the other thing that irritated me, was you meet Poltro's brother, and I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna be in the story. Barely. So I was a little upset about that. So this is actually my lowest rating. I gave this a 1 star. I gave Warrior of the Wild 2. So this is the lowest. I wasn't happy with this. It might be for you, it might not be. It does have a pretty cover. I really wish it could have been more than what it was. Then we have Norse mythology. It's just the retellings of a lot of the stories that you already know, and it's got that added Neil flair that he adds to his story. So it was fun, it was entertaining, it was very easy to understand the stories. You know, they weren't over flourished with unnecessary words and whatnot. His portrayal of Loki and Thor were amazing and hilarious. So just a very fun, quick little read that really does a good job of telling you the stories. And then last but not least, Once Upon a River. This one I still haven't figured out how to rate it. I enjoyed it immensely, but it's one of those things where I'm just like, I don't know if I want to give it 4, if I want to give it 5, because I did have some issues with it. Like, this is the first time I've ever done this before, and it actually is most of these, so like they're little otters. So this little otter right here, every single one of those tabs is in reference to when it's mentioned about women getting beat by their husbands and such. It was such a normal thing thrown into the book that after a while I was like, I'm real sick and tired of hearing about husbands beating their wives and it just be treated normal. This is annoying. So, but like, and like there's other things too, but that was like the big thing. But the actual story was really good, and I ended up really liking Mr. Armstrong, but the Vaughn's story really hurt, and I cried with that one really badly. And it was like just one of those things where I'm just like, I don't want that to be true, don't let that happen. Like I knew where it was gonna go, and my heart was like already breaking. So it's a very well crafted story. It is a little long-winded. There's a lot of flourishing going on and a lot of well drawn out descriptions and whatnot, but it ended up being really beautiful. So if you have a lot of patience, it'll be easy to get through it, and I think it'll be worth it. But if you don't particularly care and don't want to have to read through a lot of really drawn out descriptions of things, then it's more than likely not going to be the book for you. But it is ultimately a very beautiful story, and I did enjoy it. I just wish I could figure out my whole feelings on it, because I'm struggling. So that is all the books that I read for this past month of August. So I hope you guys at least enjoyed this, and you know, if you guys have any tips on how I could do better at giving you guys quick little reviews on these things, you're more than welcome to leave a comment down below. Again, I like trying to talk to you guys, so please try and talk to me. So I will see you guys next time. Bye!